Hmm.
I can't take it no more. I can't take it no more. Can't take it no more. Imagine 18 hours a blackout and you're telling people progress. Cost of living gone up 100%, yet you give public servant less. Mr. President, listen to the people. Search your soul and you will confess. And while you try surviving on the public base, then you're gonna know but stress. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. They don't drive no fear with the citizen. They may want the people speak out. Freedom of speech done gone inside the gutter. Knock off when you open your mouth. Discrimination in entertainment. And you're talking about one Guyana. When the Ministry of Culture keep the big shows. One set of girls and banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup. Look how evil set up. The people fed up. Every picture you take and promise you make, everything you do is about clouds. Then you come into me for I shake your hand, there's nothing to smile about. Corruption inside every sector, but when it comes to them they send you. Try investigate efficiency, right? Go talk to Baratans too. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. I done fed up on the dirty water, low pressure, want scream and tell somebody. Imagine 1500 US and they're telling me super salary. I done fed up on the unemployment racism and the lie they say one Guyana. Cause when you look with the oil money going, circulate with one set of banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup.
Today, I'd like to talk about the harm and disastrous impact the current Vice President of Guyana, Jagdeo, has brought upon the people of Guyana. Everything he has done has been for his own benefit, never thinking about the well-being of the people or taking any action to improve their lives. Instead of helping the common people live a decent life, he has abused his power from 1999 to 2024 to embezzle at least billions of dollars of public funds, possibly even more. The ordinary people have suffered from unfair treatment and a disastrous quality of life because of him. He's a truly corrupt and evil person, using his special status to commit countless harmful acts against Guyana, all for his own gain. He even has a massive fortune in China, worth billions of dollars, all taken from the people's wealth. Today, I hope everyone becomes aware of his corruption. Let's come together, unite, and help the people of Guyana start a new chapter for a better future.
I don't even know. I know that I'm on live, but I don't even know what to say to you guys other than good night and welcome to Straight Up. We got Tom Anderson just smiling there. He thought that I didn't know I was on. I was staring at the camera. I was like, it's one of those Guyanese things, Tom. We have a way of our humor. Not all of us, but some weird sense of humor. I don't know if you guys have it in America. You're currently in America. I'm currently somewhere. But Tom, good night and welcome to Straight Up. Lots of things we got to talk about, man. Lots and lots of things. But as we say in Guyana, I'll open the bowling. Let me see if you recognize anyone here in this. This is a cartoon, mind you.
Yeah, I know exactly what it is. Good night, everyone. And yes, that cartoon. Look, man, I will say this. I followed his visit closely, okay? And I actually enjoyed it a lot. I thought the nation of Guyana put on a good show. I thought it was great, man. Just my opinion. I mean, like I thought it was great.
Yeah, his visit, and then lots of folks waiting for when he gets back to uh, India to say, well, you speak of unity outside of Guyana, outside of India, but what's happening in your hometown? And then these folks, Irfan Ali, when they're out of Guyana, they speak of unity, but when they return to Guyana, they destroy the people, they divide the people. I guess that's how some political leaders are. But I wasn't surprised at this cartoon at all because the cartoonist is, of course, he's entitled to be pro whatever he is, and it is said that he is just pro PPP. So this is just a message. But one of the things, though, that Jagdeo did at his so-called press conference today, he says, Jagdeo, that is, that India has never been as productive and as positive as it is under Modi's leadership. I was like, wow, that's an endorsement. Just like he's running up and kissing up to that guy who took all the black jobs. You know who's that guy that took all the black jobs, right? He complained that immigrants are taking all the black jobs, and thus far, no black person has been appointed to his cabinet. I don't know, Tom. Good night again.
Yeah, good night, man. Look, it's hey, Mark. Look, I've been thinking about this, and I'm the guy who keeps continuing to say that you got to leave the door open to allow people to walk through a good way, right? And I understand that when Modi visited, he focused on the PPP, he focused on the diaspora of India in the country. He didn't really say much about anyone else. I get that. But it's a start, it's a beginning, and I understand that he was being a little hypocritical with how he behaves back at home and everything. I get all of that, right? But I have to say, man, this is a big step up for the people of Guyana. I'm proud of the people of Guyana. I understand it was all tilted one way politically. Regardless, it still was a really good look, and it's a good starting point. And it's important for the world to see that Guyana isn't just a place for the Chinese. Okay. I mean, that's important. It's important to see that there are other competitors in the marketplace now, other nations, other cultures who want to be a part of the beautiful nation of Guyana. And that's great. And I say, everyone should be happy. The more the merrier should be the outlook on it. And that's how I see it, in my opinion.
Right, but those corrupt leaders in Guyana, I got your point. They got some very corrupt leaders there in India as well. Top Adani, a billionaire, a friend of Modi, was actually indicted in the United States of America. I know you saw that. And the indictment came just as Modi was in Guyana shaking hands and being introduced to Jagdeo and his family and so forth. What's your take on that indictment of that billionaire and others?
Yeah, no, I mean, this is the problematic world we're in now, right? Is that more and more we're heading towards this area where, a handful of billionaires are controlling everything, and they tend to basically not respect the law. They get caught up with things. They hurt innocent people, and they expect to get away with it. And so that's the world we're in today. And that's why I continue to say, the regular people have to band together, have to communicate with each other, have to realize that you can't just allow these billionaire guys to just run wild all over the place. And the one way to stop them and keep them corralled and keep them in check is for the people in numbers to band together and stay strong and stay focused on the important things that the people need. And this is another example of it.
All right, Modi on his way out of Guyana. I'm not sure how much was achieved there other than a little photo op and so forth. And couple of scholarships, couple of this here, couple of that. I'm not knocking at. I know India has always been a friend of Guyana. They have been a friend of Guyana for many, many years, decades now, and I salute the people of India indeed. But I just cannot stand the dirty politics and the hypocrisy. We see it. Anyways, I'm glad that they took a group photo. And Tom, this is going to make you smile. This is the opposition leader, Brackle, as we would say in Guyana. He brackled Modi there for throw in a quick conversation. Hey, all is not well here, Modi. Don't worry with that. But I would have expected, maybe a nice sit down chat, a more cordial, a more professional kind of approach. But what the opposition leader here did in this photograph, he brackled Modi, and there is the photograph. And then, of course, telling Modi, I suspect that all is not well in Guyana. What is your take on the facial expression and the body language that you're seeing here?
No, I mean, that's, it's important that the opposition speak their piece. It's important that, and I'm glad, like I told you, I'm glad that Modi actually met with, even if it was only for a conversation, even if it wasn't that long, he met with the opposition. That's so important. And it's important for the opposition to speak the mind of the people who are not doing well. So, this is how it goes, man. This is politics. This is a geopolitical situation. And Guyana is in a situation right now, the people especially, this is not a good time, right? And so, people like Modi need to understand that when they come to Guyana, they're going to see one thing from the PPP, but at the end of the day, there's another side to the nation that isn't doing so well. And it's important that if they're going to have partnerships with the nation of Guyana, that those partnerships benefit everyone, not just the few at the top, not just one party. And so I hope with the time that he had with Modi that he was able to express, effectively some of the major issues that are going on in Guyana, right? That I think Modi can actually have an impact on, because I know they signed some agreements with the nation of Guyana, some partnerships, some military things and whatnot. And so there should be a focus by anyone outside of Guyana. They need to understand that both parties have to be spoken to. And if there are any partnerships to be done, all the people have to benefit, period. There's no other way to do it.
All right, Tom Anderson at 8:48, 9:48 Guyana time. And we're looking here. You take a look. Jagdeo and Aubrey Norton, the opposition leader, and the semi-dictator there, Jagdeo, standing together, smiling, and then we wait for the next press conference where the cuss-out will begin. You're not surprised at these sort of things, right? Politics.
No, man. I mean, this is how it is. You have to understand, when it comes, oh man, politics is not easy. Okay. And the best leaders are the ones who constantly are compromising. And compromise means that your side is going to lose a little bit. I mean, I'm sorry. That's what it means. Okay. So you have to smile. You got to do things publicly with people who are your bitter enemies if you're going to be successful politically. But it's imperative that these guys do what they have to do. They have to compromise. They have to come to the table with each other. They have to smile for the cameras, even if they hate each other, because it's what the people need. The people need for these guys to come together and do what's right for everyone. And so effective leaders are going to do these types of things for the photo ops, and that's fine. It's kind of funny, but that's politics, man. That's how it goes.
Smile for the camera. They're back to cursing up who is illegal and who rigged and who, all manner of things. Good night to all of you, every single one of you, wherever you are. I'm looking at some of your comments. Tom, we want to touch on lots of things tonight. This is Thursday night, the 21st of October, 2024. It's almost the end of 2024. I know what some of you guys are thinking. It's okay. That photograph there, smiling, smiling Jagdeo and smiling Jagdeo and smiling Aubrey Norton. Tomorrow, Aubrey has the opposition leader has a press conference tomorrow. Well, you'll wait to hear a little bit of Roseanne about Roseanne. But let's move away from Guyana politics. But before we do, allegations again that this senior police officer is recently he was removed from Region 1. Serious allegations, according to U.S. law enforcement agencies. He's on the radar. He's still a serving member of the Guyana Police Force, on the radar of allegations. That's, again, I wish to repeat, allegations that he's involved in the drug trade. Tom?
I mean, this is, once again, man, this is just, oh, it's so sad because, this is a constant, everlasting kind of cycle here. And it's one of those things where, the people at the top, they're smiling with this visit for the photo op and everything, but they need to handle business, man, because, if not, we're going to see Guyana fall into a pit it cannot get out of. Okay. And this drug trafficking is a pit that the country cannot get out of. Gold smuggling is a pit the country can't get out of. It's just, it can't happen, and it should not be happening. And they have to find a way to build a system where they can swiftly deal with any individual who's involved in this stuff. Because if not, it's going to drag the entire nation down, unfortunately.
We're not seeing any sort of swift action against these guys. Even though it's allegations, you remove them, you have an internal investigations, you have an independent investigation, but these guys are moved from one area to the next, and that's not doing any sort of justice to the people of Guyana.
No, that's the problem. You have to have a system in place that can move swiftly, so fast that these guys they can't even blink. And they're like, whoa, what's going on? That's what has to happen, right? You have to have that type of system. And it's important in Guyana because it's such a serious situation, right? So if they're not moving in swift, they don't have a system in place to quickly deal with these things, then they can go the wrong way real fast. And it has been going the wrong way real fast. And this type of stuff is the root of the problems that the people of Guyana are having to deal with. And that's why it feels so hopeless, because as regular people, how do you deal with a situation where your police are being accused of being a part of the drug trade, of smuggling, and nothing really is happening to them, right? I mean, it sort of feels like, well, there's nothing you can do. And that type of helpless feeling feeds on itself, and it creates a toxic situation where the country just can't get out of the ditch. And that's an unfortunate thing. So the best way to be able to get out of the ditch and to be able to have people have confidence in what's going on is to be able to have a system in place where even when the allegations pop up, these individuals are dealt with swiftly and fairly under the law.
All right. According to information, there may be a press conference tomorrow with the GCOM chair, a press conference tomorrow. The Guyana Elections Commission's chairwoman, Claudette Singh. There may be a press conference tomorrow with her. Finally, she is going to be speaking. I hope it's not a clone. I hope she comes out and speaks the truth. Again, according to what we're hearing, that there is a press conference. There will be a press conference tomorrow. Let me just say to some of you in the audience, please do not be distracted. If you are going to comment and just be responsible, Anthony Johnson, you call Jagdeo the donkey, and you call people donkey and donkey and donkey and donkey. Okay, so that's the first warning to Harris, Anthony John Harris, whoever you are. It's okay to disagree, but this is not a platform that we are going to allow certain things. We understand democracy, freedom of speech, and everything. but be constructive as you go. If you don't like the opposition leader, fair enough. Maybe folks can understand, but just be mindful. Tom, what's happening in the United States of America? The politics, lots and lots of controversy, lots and lots of things happening. And one of the big things that happened is Matt Gaetz withdraws from consideration as Donald Trump's Attorney General. What's happening here, Tom?
Oh man, this is okay. So here is an example of what I was saying, but in the United States, about a nation going into the abyss and into the ditch, right? This guy being nominated to be the top lawman in our entire nation. In other words, he would have been the top lawman basically in the world. Okay. This guy, this dirtbag, that would have thrown us into the abyss in a way that I don't know if anyone could even imagine what that would have been like. So with him stepping down, and I have a pretty good idea of why he's stepping down, right? Because if you look at his behavior and you look at his past, he's the kind of guy that has the stuff out there where he's got what they call in Russia compromise on him, okay? Where powerful people, billionaire guys, can own his soul based off of dirt that they have on this guy, right? So the stuff that's been in the media about the underage girl, the sex and all that stuff, that's just scratching the surface. That's just scratching the surface. There's so much more about this guy. And so he had to withdraw because that other stuff was about to come out. And he had to bounce before it hit him across the forehead, right? I'm just surprised that he thought that he could just slide through the door. Like in this picture, see, he's trying to slide through the door real quick, right? That's what he tried.
Very creepy and sneaky. Something about that look. Very creepy. It's like you're peeping somebody there, you know, like, hey, what's going on?
Gotta slip through real fast before he gets caught. He looks like his pants aren't on. Okay, that's how he looks.
Something isn't right with some of these guys, man. And some of these pics are out of the field, man. And this guy was very creepy. And I'm not surprised that he has withdrew. But what happens now, though, because he resigned from Congress as well?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. He can. So they're saying that he can go back in January when they bring in the new Congress, right? But the problem with that is he's got this huge ethics report that they did an investigation on. That the first day he comes out, they're going to release that report. So, and on top of that, he's one of the few guys who brings bipartisanship into our nation right now. So right now, the two sides, the Republicans and Democrats, they hate each other more than they ever have. But for some reason, he brings them together in their hatred for him. So the Republicans probably hate him more than the Democrats. So that's the other problem that he has, is not only will he get slapped with that investigation first day back, but on top of that, no one's going to want him there. So guess what he's going to end up having? They have these assignments in Congress, in the House of Representatives, where they give different members different offices. And the most powerful members get the really nice offices with a view, okay? The lower level members, like the rookies, the new guys, they get these basement offices that are tight, and there's like, you can't find them, and they're all dank and smelly. He will get one of those basement offices down at the bottom next to the stinky bathroom. Okay. He'll basically have a broom closet for an office. On top of that, he'll get hit with that investigative report. And on top of that,
you're really going after this creep here, though. But go ahead.
I'm just saying, like, this is what they'll do to him. That's what, see, people don't understand. There's so many little things that they can do to you as a member of Congress if they don't like you. And one of the things is they give you a broom closet for an office. They do this on purpose. And what happens is if he tries to go to the gym there in the House of Representatives, like, they won't let him use the different weight machines. They'll tell him no. If he tries to go to the cafeteria, he won't have food. Everyone else can get food, but he won't be able to get any. This is what they'll do to him.
Their teenage daughters around him anyways, too.
That's right. That's right. So I don't know if he's going to try to come back, because No one wants him there, and they are going to treat him so badly if he comes back. So I don't know what he's going to try to do, but he's in a bad spot, man.
An extremely bad spot. He is gone. Good riddance. He's out of the way. I don't know. That report needs to be made public. But some of these guys are bad news, man. Really, really bad news, Tom. Take a look at what we're hearing here now. Police report reveals new details from sexual assault allegations against Trump defense secretary now. Pete Hegseth. Tom, what's going on with all of these?
This one, Mark, man, this one is, to me, this is the serious one. You know, the Matt Gaetz thing is sort of a joke. Pete Hegseth.
Not necessarily. I know you don't mean it as a joke in a sense, it being a joke, but underage girls and Matt Gaetz.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that he was never going to be attorney general. Okay, that's why I say his thing was a joke. He was never going to make it. But this Pete Hegseth guy, he actually has a shot of being the head guy for the Department of Defense. Okay, the secretary for, man, with the allegations against him. And just so everyone knows, so here's what happens, right, in the Republican Party. It happens on the Democrats too, but it really happens in the Republican Party. What happens is these Republican groups, like there's this women's group in the Republican Party. They have these little conventions, and they bring out different speakers to speak at their little conventions, these the women Republican conventions. And so he's one of the guys that they love to bring out because, you know, they think he's such a cute, handsome man, and he's so sexy. He's on TV, and so they bring him out.
Who is that you're talking about?
The Republican Women's Associate. I forget the name of the group, but it was a Republican women's group.
Okay.
And they bring him out. They brought him out to speak, and you know what they do is they do these fundraisers. So they put him at the top of the invitation, and if you want to come, you have to pay for a ticket, and those tickets are expensive, right? And if you want like to have a photograph with him, then you have to pay like $5,000 for a signed autograph and stuff like that, right? Okay. And so these guys, they love these things because they get paid a lot of money to do it, but on top of that, they get to have all kinds of fun with the ladies, basically, so to speak, right? And so he goes to some events a few years ago, I guess like 2017, and to this women's event. And at the event, all he was doing was like, from what I'm hearing, is he was like slapping chicks on the butts. He was rubbing up on them. he spent the entire time just being like
these creeps.
Yeah, being a creep. That's what they said. He was being a creep. And so one of the women,
was he sober or under the influence of something?
Okay, so he might have been like, you know, Trump Jr. the other day where he was rubbing something in his mouth. Okay, I don't know. And so the women said one of the women got mad and was saying, you know, stop being a creep and stop treating us like dirt. And that woman, what she said was, when she was arguing with him, he was by the bar and she had a drink, and she said that she basically like passed out. So apparently like her drink, she was drugged or something. When she came to, she was inside of his hotel room, and she tried to get out, and he told her no, and he took her phone, and she said from her memory, she just kept saying no a lot, and all she can really remember is saying no a lot and seeing his dog tags, his military dog tags hanging over her face while she got sexually assaulted, basically.
And she was there with her husband and her kids too, right?
Yes. So this is a married woman with children, okay? And so she ends up going to a hospital and getting a rape kit done on her. And the police report interviewed the nurse who did the rape kit on her, interviewed other people who were there that night. And what happened was the police recommended to the attorney general of the state to press charges against this guy, or at least open an investigation. And they never did it. They never opened up an investigation. And the reason why is because he's a powerful man. He's a
powerful white guy.
This guy,
white
right?
Privilege.
But what ended up happening was he ends up paying her money to stay silent afterwards. So he paid her off. All right. And now he's claiming, his attorneys are claiming, no, he did nothing wrong. If he did anything wrong, they would have prosecuted him. The police said he did nothing wrong. The police didn't say he did nothing wrong. The opposite. The police said he needs to be investigated and probably prosecuted. Okay? So this guy's in big trouble, man. And if it's true what he did, I mean, you're talking about a true sick individual right here that should probably
looks
be
like
nowhere near any power.
Another one gonna bite the dust. I'm not sure. I don't see him making it through any sort of confirmation. So he may have to withdraw himself too. Who knows?
Yep.
Serious allegations, very, very serious allegations, Tom. But I kind of like this photo though. For some reason, Tom, I think he's looking at us, right?
I mean, that is one disturbing photo, man.
Something about this photo. When I saw it, I'm like, oops.
Yeah, that's a disturbing photo, man. And this guy, this goes, Mark, this is the other thing, this goes to show that this Trump administration is already starting off in a crazy way where they can't get anything done right. If you guys remember, they ended his presidency with COVID, which was totally out of control, which had this guy riding around with COVID in the back of the car with agents, Secret Service agents, and he was getting them sick basically. When he had COVID, he was telling people that they were going to use some type of bleach or some type of laser beam under the skin to zap the COVID away. I mean, this guy, Trump, was a total mess when it came to that. And so they ended his presidency totally out of control. And now they're starting a new one totally out of control again.
Oh, man.
So
it's going to be a train wreck unless they get their act together. But we don't see that. You have the defense secretary elect and, not elect as yet, nominee. He's in some serious hot water. This little creep here peeping through there, he is out, out like salt, as we say in Guyana. But he is out, and his replacement choice, Pam Bondi, attorney. She was there with Donald Trump during his trial. She's out in, Attorney General out there in Florida.
Yeah.
Former Attorney General out there. She has had a little podcast and so forth. What's your take on her?
She's actually a pretty good pick, I think. I think she's an excellent pick. I'm very familiar with her, being a Floridian myself, and she's got the experience. She has the wherewithal. She's pretty good, man. Like, she knows what she's doing. So she's actually a pretty good pick.
All right. Other than just a pretty good pick and being a Floridian, you're being a bit one-sided there. You're picking up, but anyways, Marco Rubio is from Florida as well. I'm sure you would. But what can she do to reform the Attorney General's office, though?
Oh, she's not going to reform anything, man. She's going to have to somehow, some way, make Trump happy with his outrageous demands, but at the same time, hold the office together and make it respectable. So basically, her job is going to be to be the pilot in a plane to perform a crash landing and make sure very few people die in the back. That's basically going to be her job. It's not going to be pretty, man. It's going to be real ugly. But I think she can actually crash land the plane. I think she can pull it off without too many people getting hurt, man.
And then, well, she seemed to be a better pick, of course, a far better pick than that this guy, right?
Oh man, he would have. There would have been no crash landing. That guy would have flew the plane nose first straight into the dirt. Okay, like there would have been no survivors if that guy would have become a attorney general. Okay, no survivors at all. Like there wouldn't even be. But you know what? They wouldn't even have found the black box. Okay, this guy would have. There would have been nothing.
This guy has a local face, a Guyanese local face. He has a Dharamlal kind of creepy look about him. Right? I don't know, something about this photo. Probably we'll get to that. But Tom, what is your take though on all of the cabinet picks for Trump? All are just white men and white women. Is Trump going in there to take away all of the black jobs, the same black jobs he claimed he wanted to protect? What's he? What? Why no black person in his cabinet?
Like the guy like Byron Donalds, okay, and like he's the main one that was out there polishing shoes, kissing feet. This guy, what an embarrassment of a human being. Byron Donalds, ridiculous. Yeah, man, this guy, he got nothing after all that boot licking. Nothing.
He's a Floridian, or he from
he is.
Alabama?
He's a Floridian too. Yes, he is. And that's what's really bad is that Trump knows who he is because he's here in Florida, right? And so the fact that he licked so many boots and he's got nothing, tells you everything you need to know about this Trump administration and what they feel about skin color. All right. They put a premium on white skin, period. End of story. They really don't want a black face in the room at all. And if you are a black face, your job is just to polish shoes and that's it.
If they have some sort of a position, I don't know what is available now, or maybe if this guy doesn't make it as defense secretary, maybe he'll put a former black general there. But outside of that, what other position that's available for a black person? Or is it that Trump is taking up all of the black jobs?
HUD, he can do HUD. Maybe is what he might be able, because remember,
I think you're onto something. He may put a black person HUD,
because Ben Carson was there for as the HUD secretary when he was president last time. So he did have a black person the last time, and it was Ben Carson, and he was in charge of HUD. He put a brain surgeon. Think about that for a second. The way Trump sees it is that if you're black, you have to be at the level of one of the world's best brain surgeons just to get a job as the HUD secretary, not the Secretary of Health and Human Services. You would think, well, he was a brain surgeon, so make him the head of Health and Human Services, right?
I mean, he did a horrible job, in my opinion. Yes. There, at HUD. He was lost.
He did a terrible job. Yes, he did. I mean, what do you expect? I mean, he's a brain surgeon. What does he know about housing and urban development? Nothing at all, right? He knows a lot about hospitals and being a doctor. I don't understand why he wasn't put in HHS, but that lets you know that the way Trump sees it is that you can be, if you're black, you can be a brain surgeon, but man, the best you're going to get is a low-level secretary spot. You're not going to get what you deserve or what you're qualified for. You're just not going to get it. And and Trump has been this way his entire life. Remember, the federal government sued him in the 70s because he refused to allow black people to rent apartments in buildings that he controlled.
I think that was his dad.
It was him too. No, it was him too. He was a part of it. Because he was helping running the business with his father.
So it was him too. I love black people. And immigrants are going to be taking up all of the black jobs. All of the black jobs immigrants are going. They're coming into the country. They're taking away your jobs. They're eating out your pets and all, man. Look at what they're doing. Just take a look at what. Oops, sorry.
Right.
Sorry.
I mean,
take a look at what they're doing. No, but I take what you're saying there with the HUD though. He is going to put a black person at the HUD. There is a spot for a black person, but none of the top spots. Not Secretary of State. Not Secretary of Defense, or maybe, who knows, if that guy pulls out. But what's your take on the Secretary of Health, Kennedy?
That's another, that's just another disaster.
That guy's a weirdo.
No, he's a weirdo, but if you look at the places where he actually had some influence around the world, people either died of diseases or of starvation. He crashed entire economies, trying to convince them to get away from using regular fertilizer and only use organic fertilizer. He destroyed total economies, or telling people out in the Pacific Island out there that not to use vaccines, and there was an outbreak of disease. And so he's a disaster himself. And here's what's really crazy, is that he himself has been out there saying to people that Trump is a Nazi, and that all the people who support Trump are idiots and stuff like that. So so you've got a guy coming in who's, first of all,
nothing different than what Marco Rubio, and then you have that guy out of Texas there, and then of course JD Vance, the vice president elect. They were vicious against Trump too.
Right. But RFK Jr., I think, is worse than all of them, believe it or not. And on top of that, he's a huge Democrat progressive who believes in things that Trump can't stand. But here's what's funny. So they had him on the plane and they made him eat 2 McDonald's burgers. I don't know if you saw that, but they made RFK Jr., man, eat McDonald's. And this guy can't stand McDonald's. So that lets you know where they're going with this thing. They don't care who you are. They're going to force you to do the thing that you might hate the most. And they've already made RFK Jr. bend the knee and made him eat McDonald's burgers on the Trump plane.
His father must be rolling, turning in his grave, as we would say, because his father was the Attorney General of the United States of America. I think he was assassinated too, the brother of JFK, President John F. Kennedy, who was assassinated, and his brother was also assassinated. And this guy Kennedy is the son of RFK. But he's a weirdo, though. He's very, very weird. I don't see him as lasting as long in that position, if ever he is confirmed. Also, because you never know, something might creep out of his something may creep out of his closet. Who knows?
Well, he's the one who had the diary where he recorded like sexual escapades with like 3,000 women or something. It was something really strange. And a lot of those women were married, and it was like he would rate them on a scale of 1 to 5 or something about how good they were in sex. And a lot of them, like, he would meet them at dinner where they'd be sitting next to their husbands, and he would describe in his diary, he would reach under the table and start playing with them and all this and that. Sick, crazy stuff. So this guy is out there too, man. And also he had the brain worm too.
I don't know what's happening. It's a different sort of United States of America. Different sort. I don't know. Strange things are going to happen, but good things will overcome those strange things. Strange people, strange cabinet picks, and all these things. Tom, what's happening? I read something on your blog about your take on the immigration side of things. Because we see the zigzagging of the incoming Homeland Security chief. He's talking one thing today, something else tomorrow. Obviously, he doesn't know the law. He's just, in my mind, he's just being this tough cookie. Oh, we're going to get you. Whether you cooperate, we're going to get you. We're going to come for you. Talk to us about that, please, Tom.
Yeah, so I did some research because I wanted to really dig into, what is this guy really, what is Trump really planning to do? Because they're serious, and his border czar guy is out there saying, like you just said, hey, they're going to get everybody. And so I said, let me do some research. Let me try to find out, exactly how they're going to do this. And so this is what I dug up as I researched it, okay? Trump is going to use a very obscure law that was written in 1798, okay, called the Alien Enemies Act. All right. It went along with 3 other laws that were under the title of the Alien and Sedition Acts. Okay. So there were 4 laws total in 1798 for the Alien and Sedition Acts. 3 of them went away, but one of them stayed until this. It still exists, the Alien Enemies Act. And so this thing was signed into law by President John Adams, the second ever president for the United States of America. Okay, so this is how far back this law goes. So Trump is going to use a law that was signed into law by the second president of the United States of America in the 1700s. All right, and to give you an idea of what the law is, it was designed, okay, to go after the French, because at the time the French were mad at us for being too close to the Brits, because they were at war with the Brits and we were cozying up to the Brits, and the French thought that that was a betrayal of them because they had helped us get our independence from the Brits, right? So they started to attack our maritime vessels, and so everyone here thought, okay, we're going to end up going to war with France. John Adams tried to negotiate his way out of war with France, but the French tried to shake him down. Something called the XYZ affair happened, where John Adams sent some people over to negotiate with the French, and the French said, if you want to negotiate, you have to pay us a whole bunch of cash and give us like a $10 million loan just to have a discussion, right? And so the negotiations went nowhere because Adams didn't want to be shook down. And so the Congress stepped in and they wrote these laws, okay? And the Alien Enemies Act was one of the laws that was written. And to give you an idea of what these laws were all about and what this law is all about that Trump is going to use, these laws were used to basically abuse journalists and reporters. That's what they were for, okay? So anyone who said anything bad about the government, they locked them up, put them in jail, fined them thousands of dollars. And they actually did this, okay? It was so bad that and it was so outrageous that John Adams couldn't win re-election just because of this law, the Alien Enemies Act. It sank his second term. He couldn't get in for the second term. Thomas Jefferson ended up beating him because of this law. So Trump wants to grab a law that at the time when it was signed by John Adams was so controversial that it sunk his presidency, that he couldn't get reelected because it was used to abuse people. And in specific, it was used to attack reporters and journalists. Okay. So fast forward to World War II. They used this law again to go after Italians, to go after Germans, to go after Japanese people. And what they were doing was, and this is what's crazy about it, okay? They were actually using the law to harass people, okay? And it was total racism. So if there was, let's say, an Italian doctor who had a thriving practice somewhere, they would use the law to destroy his practice. Right, it had nothing to do with him being a anti-American, or no. It was that's an Italian guy, so we're going to go after his business. We're going to put him out of business. And so that's how the law was being used again. So this law is a very controversial law because of how it's been used over the years. It's always been used to either abuse the First Amendment, people, free speech, to stop free speech, or it's been used as a racism tactic to hurt minorities and specifically to hurt their ability to do business, okay? And to spy on them and to abuse them. So fast forward to today, that's the law Trump is going to use, that he's claiming he's going to use to do this mass deportation, to grab 11 or 12 million people and toss them out of the country. Okay, and the way he's planning to use it is he wants to declare a state of emergency, and he wants to use the military along with this Alien Enemies Act to basically round everybody up and send them out. So here's the problem with it, okay? By him using this law, what he's doing is he's getting the immigration issue outside of the court system with immigration laws. So if you get arrested based off of this law, this has nothing to do with immigration. What this is saying is that you're an enemy of the state. You're basically a terrorist, and they're allowed to kick you out. It has nothing to do with your immigrant status whatsoever. So you don't have to be someone who's illegally here. You can be a U.S. citizen, and they can use this thing on you, basically, okay? So that's the danger of it. Now, I think they might be successful in using it to go after some really hardcore criminals, but I just don't know how successful they'll be in using it to get rid of 11 million people, man. I don't know. This seems to me like it's going to be another chaotic thing that is going to cause a lot of distress, a lot of chaos in the streets, but I don't think it's going to be very effective, especially when you look at the history of this law and how it's been used in the past.
And then when you look at some of those who are part of the administration, his incoming administration, who seem to be working with foreign governments, and whether in bed with Russia, whether in bed with North Korea, whether in bed with dictators and so forth, is kind of hypocritical. But that particular act, I think it's been so many years outdated. It moved away from the Federalists because they weren't popular then. And then in came the Democratic Republican Party back then. And of course, you mentioned the
Thomas Jefferson.
Thomas Jefferson, indeed. But if it wasn't popular back then, what makes you think, Tom, it's going to be popular now?
That's what's so crazy about it.
That this guy, Trump, is going to get his way to walk all over, trample upon people's constitutional rights without any due process. The Constitution talks about due process.
That's right.
And
well,
you cannot just call a state of emergency. You got to calling a state of emergency to round up some people that you feel ought not to be in America because they're illegal or whatever the case may be. I think it's a tough pill to swallow, Tom, in 2024. How is he going to get past that sort of?
Well, the Japanese government may have hinted at it. Okay, the Japanese government has been warning Japanese citizens who are in the United States that when Trump becomes president, he may institute martial law. Okay, and they would know because remember, it was Roosevelt who interned like 200,000 Japanese Americans during World War II with an executive order. So Japan is very sensitive to this situation, and they understand it better than other countries.
Of course, they will be sensitive because it was concentration camp for those.
That's right.
Those
That's right.
Japanese that
That's Theodore,
right. Just had to do something that was so inhumane to
That's
the Japanese.
Right.
And now that the Japanese are sensing that something similar may happen.
That's it. So that's it.
They're like, wait a minute, we're familiar with this sort of talk. Yes. We as Japanese, we have been affected by that. Thousands of Japanese were affected by that, placed in concentration camps and all manner of things. So
that's
it's
right.
Kind of like bringing back some very uncomfortable memories.
That's it.
For the Japanese.
So that's what. So if they're out there warning, they're sending out the signal, the smoke signal. Hey guys, you better pay attention to this because for him to be able to pull off what he wants to pull off, he's going to have to do something like a martial law type of situation. So, you know, we're looking potentially at a lot of chaos coming up here, man, a lot of chaos. And here's the thing about anyone who is thinking that Trump isn't going to deport anyone. I don't believe that. I think he's going to deport people, and I think he's going to do it in a way that doesn't even make sense. I think what's going to happen is the people who should get deported, especially the hardcore criminal types, they're probably going to slip between the cracks, and then innocent people who shouldn't be deported are going to end up getting deported.
Let me ask you this here. But Donald Trump's first term in office, we saw less people were deported under Trump's administration. First time he was president. Many folks thought that Trump was going to just deport everyone, except his wife, but just deport everyone, send them out of the country. We were able to see less people being deported during his first term in office compared to the thousands of people that were deported under Clinton administration. Because Clinton deported a heck of a lot of people. Thousands upon thousands of people were deported under Clinton's administration. The World Trade Center bombing and all manner of things. And so an old immigration law, deportation law that Clinton used, that was used back in the 1930s, the 1940s, and so forth. And then now, okay, thousands of people were deported under Clinton, President Clinton, 2 terms, thousands of people. Then you expect under Obama's administration, they're going to be a little lenient on immigration. They're going to be a little lenient on deportation because you just can't pick people up just like that and deport them for a little match, take a little, whatever it is. But thousands upon thousands of people were deported under Obama's administration. Then came Trump administration. People were like, oh man, It's going to be chaos in the immigration system. Thousands of people got to go, but far less persons were deported under Trump's administration than Clinton and Obama. That's the point I'm trying to make, Tom.
Yeah.
Why his administration, his first term, saw less amount of people being deported, but yet this whole sort of anxiety now that he's gonna just run people.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the issue, right? So he, in order to match rhetoric with real world action, you have to actually have agents that you can put out there into the streets to grab people, to deport them, right? And at the time that Trump was president, he didn't have a Congress that was funding the type of homeland security, agents that you need to ground people up and send them out. Well, since then, under the Biden administration, they have ramped up the number of agents that they use to go after, to apprehend and deport people by like 200, 300%. Okay. Like there are thousands and thousands and thousands more now that they didn't have before. Okay. So that's why during his administration, he could say all that he wanted to say, but they didn't actually have the manpower to get it done. And he didn't use the military. So it was impossible for him to deport anyone. And that's why his numbers were the way they were. And so this time round, though, I think his people have gotten smarter and they've realized, oh, you know what? The Democrats, they know how to use government, and they basically made it so that no matter how much we tried, we couldn't actually deport anybody. So what they're going to do now is they're going to use the military. You see what I'm saying? And on top of that, they've got 7,700 agents now in Homeland Security just for deporting people, whereas under Trump, I think they only had like 2,500. Okay, so that's the difference.
Who increased the numbers? The Democrats.
The Democrats did, because the Democrats actually know how to create a system to deport people. The Trump guys, they have good rhetoric, but they don't actually know how to actually create a system to do it. But the problem is they've actually learned lessons from the last time. So now they know how to do it. And that's why they're saying they're going to use the military. So that's why what I'm saying is I think there's going to be a lot of chaos here. I don't think that you're going to have a bunch of people deported, but I do believe that they're going to basically strike a lot of fear into people, man, because what they're going to do is going to be so crazy, I think, that everyone's going to be scared, and everyone's, even U.S. citizens,
people are already seen here. They already seen the rhetoric and that sort of aggression coming from the guy who's tipped to be Homeland Security chief. But I don't see that guy lasting long in that position. I look at body language and he's just, hey, we don't care about this. And you got to care about law. America and the Constitution is all about law. You can't barge into people's homes, into people's communities without any sort of due process and having no respect for the rule of law. This guy has over 2 decades, close to 3 decades of law enforcement experience. He should know better that the rule of law applies, and you have to respect the rule of law. You can't just barge into communities without any respect for the rule of law and due process and so forth. It is what America is all about, and that guy needs to be reminded of that. Obviously, he doesn't understand the legal side of things. He understands the law enforcement side of things. And at times, the two of them, if one is missing, then you're heading down the road. It's going to be a train wreck. And he may be probably the first guy to resign under Trump's administration, if he gets confirmation, that is, too. Because some of these guys have worked along with illegal immigrants. Some of them got them working for them. I don't know if you recall, many years ago, was it Bill Clinton? Clinton had an attorney general who had immigrants working for her, illegal immigrants working for her, and she had to withdraw.
Yeah,
you may see the same with some of these guys, but Tom, it's easier said than done. Those who are out there, people are actually feeling it. People are worried, and rightly so. Should they be worried?
They should be worried, because this is what's being set up right now is something that it's designed to inflict fear and pain and suffering on people, and so they're going to actually have to hurt some people. That's just the bottom line in order for them to come through on their promises, right? And so this is going to be painful, man, unfortunately. So that's why I say what has to happen is if you're someone who is in a position where you could be affected by this, you have to communicate, you have to get into your community, you have to know what's going on the ground level, and make sure that you have all of your stuff in line, because if not, when the chaos comes, it's going to be hard to deal with it on like in the moment, because from the way these guys are behaving, they're going to try to do this in a way where by the time you try to go to a court or try to do anything for yourself, you're already out of the country, basically. So yes, it's time to prepare now. I wouldn't say get worried, but I will say it's time to prepare now, get your stuff in order, and make sure you're communicating with your community people, and that you know exactly what's going on a daily basis, because once the chaos starts, it's going to be really out of control, and you don't want to be in a position where you don't really know what's going on. Okay, you want to be in a position where you know exactly what's going on, and so that you can make plans for yourself and your family, and you don't get thrown into this chaos that they're creating.
Absolutely. Well said, Tom Anderson. I noticed something from the Biden administration, the Democrats. They're talking especially persons who have to check in with ICE. Quite a lot of Caribbean people or people from other parts of the world, they check in with ICE. And the Biden administration is saying, hey, now they are going to try to find a way to stop physical check-ins. In other words, those who have issues will have to report to ICE, maybe every 6 months, every year, every 3 months, or whatever. The Biden administration is saying, hey, wait a minute. They are going to find another way to report to ICE, but via apps, so that they would have to be there physically. Because as of January 20th, those who have to report to ICE may find themselves in a very cold position. And so the Biden administration has already sensed that. They're going to be in a very cold position once they report to ICE. But these are things that the Biden administration, in my opinion, should have addressed long before. We only have a couple of months, just a month and a half or so remaining, or just a little over that remaining before Trump gets in there. Closing remarks, please. I don't know, the Democrats, some of the things they should have done, whether with DACA, whether with lots of things, but I don't know. I guess it's politics, man.
But it is politics. because where this, I'll tell you. So for everyone, and this is my final thought on this, but for tonight, because we're going to talk about this a lot more, man. I promise you. But so everyone should understand that this started really back in like 2006 and 2007, believe it or not, because back then the George W. Bush administration was trying to pass something called comprehensive immigration. And they had this group of senators called the Group of Eight. And these guys were a bipartisan group, and they were trying to create legislation that would fix all of the immigration problems. And when they did that, this group called the Tea Party came up, and they started protesting. And I remember back then, they were actually shutting down the phone lines at the Capitol, where the members of Congress couldn't even make phone calls, because there was so many tens of thousands of calls coming in. It was shutting down the machines. Okay, they were sending emails. They were doing marches out in DC. They were going into the House of Representatives protesting. I mean, it really, really got crazy, to the point where the Republicans, part of the reason why Obama won the first time round is because the Republicans were mad. The Tea Party people, the conservatives, didn't even come out to vote for John McCain. John McCain was one of the Gang of Eight. He was trying to do immigration reform, and his failure to get anything through and the pushback from the conservatives on him made it so that he lost to Trump, to Obama. And so when Obama became president, he had a choice. He could either deal with healthcare or he could deal with immigration. Okay. And he chose purposefully to ignore immigration on purpose because they felt like that was a good political move for them because they saw how well it worked against John McCain. And so they thought, oh, if they leave immigration alone, then come 2012 for his reelection, those conservatives are still going to be mad and so mad that they're not going to vote for the Republican again. And guess what happened? They were right. Romney didn't win. He lost to Obama. Obama got his second term in, and it worked for them politically. Okay. And so that was the origins of this. The Democrats purposefully ignored the immigration. They didn't want to fix it because it was something that helped them, and specifically it helped Obama win re-election. But the problem is that thing simmered and simmered and simmered for so long that when Trump came through, if you remember, his main topic was immigration. It was building that wall.
Coming down that escalator, his
That's
first
right.
thing. That was
That's
it.
right. Okay, so you have to understand.
The comprehensive reform, it was
That's
a
right.
good thing, though.
This issue has been going for a long time, man.
Well, they had one of the best, I think, immigration reform was on the Reagan, a good plan, a comprehensive plan for immigration. But every year they continue to play politics on both sides. They continue to play politics and politics and politics. Just fix the darn system. They have thousands of DACA recipients who are going to be, I hope they're not affected. These are young people who just no choice of theirs. Most of them came to the United States of America, went through the school system and all manner of things. The only place they know and the only place they can call home is the United States of America. But yet both political parties continue to play political football with these individuals. Yes, it appears that the Democrats want to do something, but to me, they should have done something. There should have been a compromise to ensure that those DACA recipients have gotten their permanent residency, leading them up to become citizens of the United States of America. The political football needs to stop by both political parties. But
That's right. That's right. That's where we're at. You're so right, Mark. This is a political thing, man. Both parties have been using it to their advantage. And I'm going to tell you, man, we've hit the point where it can no longer be used to anyone's advantage. It's going to have to be dealt with one way or the other. And I can tell you right now, man, this Trump administration, if you look at his picks for his cabinet, it's already disorganized. There's no way they can actually fix this issue looking the way they're looking right now. So it looks like we're going to have another 4 years of this issue being the biggest problem we've got. And we're going to be waiting until 2028 to see if we can get an administration.
Well, they have the midterm coming up, and the Democrats have to do better. They have to prepare for that. On top of that, Biden is getting a lot of his picks in his judges, a lot of them, over a dozen, probably about 20 something, which is good, right? I hope none of them related to Joe Manchin, whatever the heck his name. That guy was
Jim Manchin.
Wacko.
Yeah,
a waste of time for a Democrat. Always, I don't know. But Tom, your closing remarks, because a lot of Guyanese are. I noticed Tony Hack. They're upset with us. They want us to stop talk American politics, deal with Guyana. What's going on, Mark? American politics, and it's important because the American politics right now, it is going to affect Guyana one way or the other, the Guyanese community. So we have to talk about it. Not every night you want us to talk about Saddlehead every single night. Jagdeo, Irfan. Y'all don't get tired, man. Y'all don't get tired, guys. In the audience, Tony Hack. Y'all don't get tired, bro. Tom, your closing remarks, please, sir.
Look, it's impossible to get tired of talking about Guyanese politics. I got to tell you, because there's always some type of crazy cat in the hat that's popping out on that thing, man. And you just never know how
they're peeping us, Tom. They're in the audience. They're peeping us. They want to know what. And when I say they're peeping us, I really mean it.
Oh.
Your closing remarks.
Man. Yeah,
They're
so
peeping us.
since they're peeping us, okay, we should let them know, okay, look, yes, we understand 100% that American politics is totally intertwined with the geopolitical system that the nation of Guyana is in the middle of right now. And so it's all interconnected. It's all very important. And it's also, look, the people of Guyana should understand American politics very, very well. It's important that they understand it, because the more that both sides can understand of each other, the better off everyone's going to be, because we are neighbors, and we are always going to be in a position where we will affect each other, whether good or bad. So it's imperative that both sides know each other, and it's also very imperative that the people of Guyana understand what's happening here in America. So I think it's hugely important, and I think that even though the Guyanese politics is more fun to talk about, we should be knowing and learning about what's happening on this side in the United States, because it has such a big effect, man.
Thank you so much, Tom Anderson, and thanks to all of our listeners. We'll be back tomorrow. I will talk Guyana politics, but let me just say, Tom, it looks as though Yvette Clarke, Congresswoman Yvette Clarke, tonight, today is her birthday, not tonight. Today is her birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to the Congresswoman. She should be on the program sometime next week. She is big on immigration, and she means well on immigration. She has done a lot for her members within her constituency, and she will do a great job as the head of the Congressional Black Caucus, chairperson of the Congressional Black Caucus. Happy birthday to Congresswoman.
Exciting times. Clarke. Happy birthday, Miss Clarke. Happy birthday, Congresswoman Clarke. I mean, that's great. Everybody should be telling her happy birthday. If you can get on Facebook or whatever, tell her happy birthday. You know, she's an important person right now for everybody, and she's always been important, but especially for New York City. But going to be becoming the head of the CBC, that's a big deal. And congratulations to her, and congratulations, happy birthday again, Congresswoman Clarke.
Absolutely. And if any one of you out there celebrating your birthday, happy birthday to you as well. We can't forget you guys. And Rhonda Lane, how are you doing? Rhonda is one of my favorites, you know, a brave woman. You know, I bet, Tom, you wouldn't understand this. You have been hanging around us for a while, for over 15 years, Tom. We've been working together. Well, we've been talking on issues. And I bet you wouldn't understand this here. Send Rhonda away a raise, no? What does that mean?
Yes. Make sure she's getting paid right.
Thank you so much, Rhonda, for all that you're doing, and to all of those individuals who continue to stand up against oppression, stand up against racism, and a bad and corrupt system there in Guyana or wherever it is. Thank you all so much. And I just love to always I single out Rhonda Lane for that. She's a good woman, a good person. And I don't mean anything to be disrespectful when I say send her a raise. It's a Guyanese thing, a raise. You know what I mean? A freck. Yeah, thank you so much. But Tom, thanks as always. Hopefully we'll see you back next week right here on 107.1 FM. What's your blog? Some people have been asking for blog. Message me.
Yeah, I'm on Substack. It's Thomas Anderson's Political Power Portrait, and I'm on X, Last Gov Watch at X. So both of those.
Yep, you're on X. Okay. X platform.
Always. Everything.
Rhonda heard about the raise. She said thanks already, Tom. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Tom. You're welcome, Rhonda. Happy birthday every day. Every day is a birthday for Rhonda, okay?
Yeah. Thank you, Tom. Appreciate it.
Good night. Good night. You're welcome. Take care, everybody.
And to all of you as well, again, if you're celebrating your birthday, happy birthday, whatever anniversary, just like Yvette Clarke, Congresswoman Yvette Clarke. Happy birthday to you, the Congresswoman. I don't think she probably is watching. Who knows? But happy birthday to her. She will be on next week right here on 107.1 FM. Let me see. Check some of your comments out. All right. So I'm just reading some of your comments. You can go on Congresswoman's woman Yvette Clarke's page, sorry, and wish her a happy birthday. She deserves it. This time around, she'll double up the fighting for all of you. I think she'll make a good chairperson of the Congressional Black Caucus. We'd love for her to be elected there. And also guys like Hakeem Jeffries and so forth. We can't leave them out. Chuck Schumer and all those guys. Chuck Schumer, through the Senate, ensured that all those judges were able to be confirmed. And we'll see what happens as of January 20th. We already, if you're smart enough and understand the politics, and if you're peeping, trust me, you see what's happening already, right? I'm out of here. God bless you. Have a great rest of the night, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Same place, same time. Don't forget to tune into your morning programs, whether it's Kadaki, whether it's, ring the bell, Duncan. Sorry. Those guys dressed up for Parliament today, huh? I've never seen. But the worst dressed person there, let me see if you guys can tell me the worst dressed person in Parliament today. Let me see if you guys observed that. The worst dressed person in Parliament today. But as Jagdeo would say, Parliament. Parliament. The worst dressed person. Not Basil Bradshaw, but Basil, how are you doing, my friend? The worst dressed, the one who looks as though he's all set for a circus. Not Gail. Come on, Gail was okay-ish. Oh man, Wayne Meldoris. Wayne, look at Wayne Meldoris. Wayne Meldoris. You already don't know where Wayne Meldoris or who is Wayne Meldoris, you know. You just know them, they just expose themselves quickly. Oh, Master Norton. Oh, man, Norton, try your best. Oh, let me don't do Norton. Let me check out the opposition leader's suit. He has on a good gray suit. The pants should have been cut a little lower, but outside of that, well dressed, man. Oh man, don't do Norton that. Don't do that. You know, don't do that. He trying, but don't do that. He wasn't the worst dressed man. Oh, whoever Wayne Meldoris is, don't do that to the opposition leader. Red suit, Manzoor Nadir. Real clung. Seriously, Manzoor Nadir. Real clung suit. Who goes to Parliament? And I thought you can't wear red in Parliament. I thought I read somewhere that you can't. Somebody said Kwame. Kwame had on what color sari? I think Kwame had on a sari, right? But a red suit. The man walking there looking like Santa Claus. A red suit, a red clung suit in Parliament, and you're sitting there as Speaker of the National Assembly in a hot red dandan, all decked out in a sense as though he's preparing to go to the cathedral. I bet he's probably around the cathedral right now, Manzoor Nadir, with a red suit. These guys, damn, a red suit. Might as well borrow Kwame sari, because Kwame had on a sari. Priya had on a sari. But a red suit, the worst dressed. But all them MP for the opposition, by all of them, if you see the Facebook page, modeling agency, by dress up, take a picture. Today was take a picture day. Reminds me of my kids them in school, picture day. So today was picture day. I love you guys. God bless you. By the way, man, today's a picture day. Parliament is all about this now. Thank you. Y'all could say wherever y'all want. So today was basically picture day. Wow. I have to smile for that one. God bless you all. Let me go put on my red pajamas and get some rest. But we'll talk later. All of you, God bless you. Remain calm, folks. Remain calm. Do not panic. I oftentimes say to people, do not panic. I say to some of my clients, do not panic. You know, I know it best. I've been in situations where I should have been panicking, but especially in solitary confinement, you don't ever panic. You don't ever panic. Oh, at Jagdeo's talk shop today, one of the Mickey Mouse there, I think it was that bushy, wild madman, asked about asylum, that he heard that people are filing or seeking asylum under fictitious thing and all these sort of things. All these sort of things. What's wrong with these guys? Back in the days when so many people were filing asylum, said that Bornham not treat them good and Bornham not this and hide this and that. Every single time, check the record with the most asylum seekers. Check that out. You might be surprised. You might be surprised, but what is hurting them is they know that a lot of people are in Canada and not just one ethnic group. They have different reasons why people file for asylum. Some can be political, some can be all humanitarian, and this is what those Pacus do not know. Y'all know where those Pacus in Guyana, man. They're a set of wild cows. Who said wild cows here? Right? A set of wild cows. Y'all continue to do what is best for you and your families, whether inside of Guyana or outside of Guyana. Forget about those Pacus. But I'm out of here. God bless you. See you guys tomorrow. Same place, same time. Right here on 107.1 FM.
Yeah, my name is Jacinti Caldata from City, Vietnam. And since 1965, I become a voter. And I always place my X next to the cup. And what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data. I have none.